All right, we are recording. Welcome, everyone, to another live recording of the Managing Partners podcast. I'm Kevin Daisy, and I'll be your host. And today I am joined by Jonathan Merel out of Chicago. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. Happy to be here.
Yeah, excellent, man. So appreciate you coming on today to share your story, your journey. And we got to talk a little bit backstage about some marketing and the pandemic and working from home versus not. So I know we got some cool things we can talk about here today. So I hope everyone's engaged, listening, and ready to learn from Jonathan. So Jonathan, just to get started, tell us your story. What makes you unique? What made you become an attorney?
Yeah, well, my story, obviously, I work in Chicago. I'm also born and raised in Chicago. Went to school in Madison, Wisconsin for college, ended up coming back to Chicago for law school. And here I am 20 years later. Never knew I wanted to be a family law or divorce lawyer. But in law school, I started law clerking at a firm that did strictly that and realized, all right, this could be interesting. It definitely won't be dull or boring. And here I am 20 years later, started practicing out of law school at a firm that did family law. And then 7.5 years later, started my own practice. So going on almost 13 years at my own firm, grown from starting on my own. Now we're up to 15 attorneys. So it's been a long journey and, a lot of ups and downs, but more ups than downs. And here I am.
Awesome, man. And so you have left Chicago once, right? So you're in Madison.
And prefer to get out of Chicago as much as possible in the winter.
I bet it's pretty cold there. I bet it's windy too, right?
Windy, cold, the usual.
So the name of your firm?
Yeah, the name of my firm is the Law Offices of Jonathan Merel, which you can find us on the web at Merel Family Law. That's MEREL familylaw.com.
And that's just right at the bottom of your screen for anyone that's tuning in on YouTube or through video. But yeah, go check out his website. Really nice website. You learn more about him. But I think, Jonathan, 15 attorneys, a family law practice, that's pretty big. That's pretty hefty.
Yeah, it's big. And we've grown a lot, in the past. Well, we've always grown steadily, but there's been a big jump in the past, 5 to 7 years, I'd say, where, we're growing at, at least 1 or 2 attorneys a year and expanding our office space. So whatever the reason is, hopefully we're doing something right. But it's been a good ride and we're getting bigger, which is exciting and also terrifying at the same time, but more exciting than terrifying. And, we're continuing to grow and appreciate, you giving me the chance to be on a show like this and spread the word some more about the firm.
No, I appreciate it. And I think, what you've done is pretty amazing. I think, I talked to a lot of managing partners and in the divorce and family areas. And again, 15 is on the large end of that. Now you have other, general practices or personal injury. I've seen a lot larger practice areas, but for family, that's pretty big. So you mentioned office space and growth, right? And so we were talking about this a little bit. So I just want to kind of go on a tangent as, growing the office space. Other firms I'm sure are thinking the same way you are. What do I do? Do I get bigger space? Do I hire just remote folks? Do I allow that to, is the experience going to, that they have and build by working together side by side? Are they going to get that experience by being at home? So, share kind of some of your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's definitely been a struggle, ever since the onset of COVID. There's obviously the work from home component that really wasn't as prevalent as it was before. In a law firm setting and the legal space, no one even really considered the idea of, working from home being something that was mainstream and normal. So that's had to be something. Obviously, when we were quarantining, everyone was doing their thing from home. But as, things have eased up and everyone's gotten back into the office, there is still that home component lingering out there that has become, almost expected, whether it's good or bad. So, as a law firm owner, I obviously always want to make sure my employees are happy and, that I'm retaining the talent I have. And when there are other law firms where, working from home might be appealing, you have to consider that in what you're offering your employees. So that when you figuring office space in downtown Chicago is a huge expense, but you got to have an office for somebody in your office, but then you also want to give them the ability to work from home. So it's a struggle as far as, finding that right hybrid, but you still got to maintain the office. So that's always been something on my mind. And, you got to just adapt with the times, really, which is what has gone on in the past couple of years.
Yeah. And I was saying we're kind of in the same place where most of my staff now are remote. We're a digital marketing company, so
right,
maybe a little different than being an attorney. But I was sharing with Jonathan, that my core leadership, the president of my one company and me and my partner, he's the CEO, I'm the CMO, we're both founders, and some of our other top leadership, we really prefer to be in the office if we can be. And we collaborate a lot. We have a lot of impromptu meetings that are productive sometimes, not every time. And, there's a lot of things that we pick up on and we discuss and brainstorm, and that, you can't just send a video link every time because you're like, well, am I interrupting them? I'm not sure what they're doing. Do they have a meeting? Let me check their calendar. So there's just a lot of things that I think you lack there. So I agree. It's a challenge.
There's definitely things you can't replace, being outside an office versus in. I mean, as I alluded to before when we talked, especially for the new younger lawyers who have never practiced as an attorney in a law firm setting, they need to see what goes on there. They need to be able to, walk down the hall and consult with a partner or a more senior attorney about a case or an issue or ask a question where, if everyone's working from home, like you said, it's not that accessible. I just can't do a Zoom meeting every 5 minutes when I have a question or, just picking up the call. Maybe they're more hesitant to do so. So,
yep.
There's an invaluable component to being in a law firm setting or any office setting, especially for people who are trying to learn the business and, be a sponge for information. So that's definitely an issue we're concerned about.
Yeah. On the lighter side, you got those few people that bug the crap out of you every 5 minutes. You kind of get away from them, but
exactly. That's about it. That's true. That's a benefit. That is a perk.
That's the one perk. Well, no, I appreciate your insight on that. And I think, we're in the same place. It's kind of like, where are we? It's a challenge. It's questioned. We see where things are going and we take it one day at a time, but you got to be willing to adapt and you have to be ready. A lot of the little younger, smaller firms, and I've had a lot on this show, that are 100% remote, 100% technology driven, 100% paperless, everything day one, because they started in the pandemic and they have no other way. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And so that gives them an advantage in some ways.
For sure. But it's also crazy to think this has been going on so long. It's all such a blur, but there are lawyers who are 2 years out now that have never been in a courthouse or have never been in an office.
That's
it's
a good
crazy
point.
Just how quickly this has passed. And it seems like it's been a long time, but also it's been 2 years, which seems pretty quick. And there are, attorneys who took the bar exam from their house and never really went into an office, but have a job and have never really experienced like what it means to be in a law firm and going to court and coming back and talking to clients in person. It's down the line. It's just, there's so much lacking from that experience, which is such a huge component of being an attorney and talking to clients in person, and all of that's just been turned upside down. So it's crazy to think about.
It is kind of crazy. I didn't think about that. I've definitely had a few on here that started in the pandemic and have, never done any of that stuff. Never interacted personally with a client probably at this point.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is just crazy,
Mm-hmm.
we thought it was crazy when it first happened that, like, I remember some of my sales team people were like, well, how are we going to sell stuff? Like, what we got to do online? Like, we got to do video calls. And that's, we got clients around the country anyway, but it just kind of blew up the whole concept of, I have to go sit down and shake your hand and come to Chicago and, and I would do that right now anyway, but it just kind of, it's not necessary.
Changes things. I mean, you can't replace, shaking someone's hand, seeing them in person. And the same applies to being in court, when you're examining a witness on your computer at home versus, sitting in front of them on a witness stand. It's definitely different. But here we are. It's kind of all it's been for a couple of years. So
I can imagine. I know for like someone that goes to trial, it's got to be. Everyone's told me I have a disadvantage because I can't have a jury in front of me. I can't be there talking to them, and you see the body language and all that stuff. So yeah, some people definitely have a disadvantage, I think, when it comes down to it.
For sure.
So, well, yeah, good stuff, man. Appreciate you sharing that with me. So change topic a little bit. What are some of the ways that you've done? You had good growth, 15 attorneys, add a few, one or two a year. What are some of the things that you've done marketing wise?
Sure.
A little bit more related to what we do, but what have you done that's been successful at driving clients to your firm?
Sure. So I've tried to like differentiate my law firm from the other family law firms in Chicago. If there's obviously it's highly competitive, and you got your pay-per-click, your local service ads on Google, and obviously starting with a nice website and doing what you can to direct traffic to your website, and that's what you guys do, so it full well. But I've tried to distinguish myself by trying to do other sort of mediums. I've been on the radio. I've become friendly with like the morning talk show host of this radio show on Q101, which is a popular station in Chicago, and they've had me on through what like segments called like Relationship Court, and they do a great job of marketing me and my firm, and I've extended that to advertising on the station. I've also gotten into using short codes as a way for people to contact my office. So I actually utilize a short code that's 22222. So people can, in order to contact me, they could text. All they have to do is text the word divorce to 22222. And it puts them right in touch with my firm, which is a medium that I think is just starting to reach the legal industry. It almost isn't there yet, but I think it will really catch on, because if you go on TV or listen on the radio, you're seeing these short codes everywhere, like text info to 525-525 or anything like that. So I think it's just a natural progression into the legal industry to use these codes, and instead of a billboard or a commercial giving you a website or a phone number, it's just easy to remember words to text codes. So, text lawyer to 55555, text injury to 22222, text divorce to 22222. So I've gotten a great feedback. I actually use a lot of my radio marketing, and it's been a great way to get people in because it's an easy to remember, and everyone likes to text these days. So just trying to find ways to differentiate from the traditional methods of marketing, which are obviously all still great, but a lot of my growth has been attributed to, obviously pushing marketing in all sectors, and, really hammering that home to try to distance myself from my competition.
No, I love that. Yeah. So you're trying other things too. You're testing, you're willing to explore. You're not just sticking with the normal stuff and just hoping it continues to work.
Exactly. And at the end of the day too, you got to do a good job. So, we pride ourselves on the work we do and our reputation, and, anyone could pay money to get people to your website, but if you're not doing a good job, then the business isn't going to continue. So, we make sure we do a great job, and, our clients feel comfortable with us, and obviously get referrals from them, and, nice reviews online, which is all part of it. So got to do a good job at the end of the day.
No, 100%. You got to do a good job. Referrals are the best thing you can get, 100%. And I like the things that you're doing with the different marketing tactics and trying different things. Those text in type of things, I see myself using them more often all the time too for other products or services. Right. And I haven't really seen it in the legal industry much at all, to be honest with you. So I'd be interested to know if others have found some success with that.
It's starting to catch on a little. And again, it's just the ease of communication. I mean, personally, if I'm trying to get in touch with a client and I leave them a message or, send them an email, may not get an immediate response. You text a client, you text somebody, they're responding immediately. And the same is really proven true with, potential clients. I mean, they want instant responses, and it's so easy for them to text because people are doing it, with their eyes closed, and it's right at their fingertips. So I think it's a great medium that will only continue to get exposure in the legal industry.
100%. And I'm actually, we have a sales training program here for like me, my partner, and my sales team. And it's actually Grant Cardone, which you've probably heard of. But, there's a whole section on just text messaging. And that's why, for this show, even Jonathan's a guest, we always ask for the cell phone number so we can alert him, make sure he shows up to this, make sure he's a lawyer, he's a busy guy, right? Getting that cell phone number is so important. In our sales process, we make sure we get cell phone numbers for any prospect. For sure. And the way you ask for it, you don't say, hey, let me get your cell phone number, but hey, I want to text you a reminder about our meeting. And then they go, oh yeah, here's my number for that.
Right.
But it's like 300% that your chances of your getting a hold of them and a response.
The statistics with as far as responsiveness and attentiveness with text messages, it blows the other mediums out of the water.
You're going to 100% at least see it, whether you respond or not. You're going to see it because you always look. Look at my phone right now. I've got a text. I'm going to see it.
And your phone's vibrating. You see a text. It takes 2 seconds to respond, as opposed to opening up an email, making sure. I mean, it's informal, but it gets to the point. And obviously, texting is everyone, especially with younger generations. I mean, my kids don't even talk on the phone. It's texting nonstop.
They don't even talk at all.
Exactly. They don't have to speak. But it's all about. I just think that's the future, and it makes sense. And it's surprising, frankly, that it hasn't taken off more in the legal industry. But I think sometimes the legal industry is a little slower to kind of accept things. And I think when people see some firms doing it like their competitors, that might encourage them to kind of say, all right, well, they're doing this. I think I got to become part of it.
Well, at the end of the day, you're providing a service, customer service. And I think the biggest complaints I hear, that clients would have with a firm is that they're not aware of what's going on. They're not communicated to enough, not necessarily the result of the case or outcome of what you're doing for them. It's just that unknown feeling of what's happening, and so communicating with their clients. And that's the same for us. My clients are sure to be mad if they don't hear anything from us. No reports, no updates. Right. So for us, we text, email, call every time we do anything for any client. And when it's not done, we call, email, text as well. Like we don't, whatever they like, we're going to do it. And it's just, they don't have to respond. Maybe oh, cool. They got back to me. I know where things are. Same with your clients. They feel good about where things are because they just at least got some information. Hey, we're not there yet. We need another week. We need another day.
Right. Just a simple check-in, just to know you're on it. And that's what clients like. I mean, that's like literally the number one thing that I think is most important to clients and their attorney-client relationship. They just want to know you're available and accessible. Even if it's just a quick text, to just say, hey, we're on top of this, or to let them know, hey, I got your email, we're going through it, or we got your documents, we're organizing them. That goes a long way, as opposed to them just not hearing from you. I mean, spending 10 seconds checking in, goes a long way.
100%. I love it. And, if you don't check in, for one, they're going, okay, did I make the right decision? Did I hire the right attorney? Did I make a mistake? I haven't heard back from them. And then they start, creating all these scenarios that are not even probably real.
In their head, right? Like, oh my God, that means he's never working on my file again. He's gone. He's abandoned me.
Yeah. So it's just avoid it. And that's, again, this applies to my business as well.
Sure.
Everyone can use this model for any type of business you're in. Absolutely. So anyway, people like to text everyone.
Yes.
Use it and, make it part of your business. It makes sense.
Absolutely.
Employees too, reminders about meetings, people that, they're working from home. Like there's so many things you can apply it to.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I love it. All right. Well, next question. What are your plans? I know you already had some good growth and things like that. What are your next, what's your plans for the next 2 to 5 years? Do you have any big goals to hit? Have you kind of really thought out, what's going to happen in 2022 and beyond?
Well, I mean, the growth is there, and we've just seen a continual explosion in our clientele coming in, and it's the brand that I think we've created, and word of mouth along with the marketing that we're doing. There's definitely going to be continued growth, hopefully. And me as the head of the firm is really just kind of trying to figure out, what moves need to be made to put the infrastructure in place to, be able to facilitate the growth. And whether that's office space or, HR policies, just kind of making sure we got all our I's dotted, T's crossed, bases covered, just making sure we're on top of everything. I mean, we definitely see growth, and we want to make sure, obviously, most importantly, we have the best people working for us, which, is obviously a crucial part of it. I mean, you're nothing without good employees. So we've made it a point to make sure we're, looking at prospects, making sure we're hiring the right people with, differing levels of experience, and putting the building blocks in place to kind of sustain the growth and continue to grow down the road. So that's been my focus a lot. And I think it will continue to be. We just gotta, knock on wood, it will continue to happen, and we continue to grow. Obviously, when you grow, you just don't want to sacrifice, things along the way. The one-on-one, facilitating communication with the clients. You don't want to become too big where clients are getting lost in the shuffle. So those are all kind of things we're thinking about as we, continue to grow and into next year and beyond.
I love it. We are in the same place, I think, as you.
Right.
I don't have I've had a few guests on here, they're like, we're going to do this office and this place, but they got it kind of, but I think, you can easily miss those things like what you just mentioned. And that's where we're at right now. We're in a process of kind of restructuring a little bit, making sure that we have a good foundation to have any more growth. And, one of the things that we're doing now is we're only taking on 2 law firms a month. That's it. And so, which just seems a little ridiculous, but until we know we can crush it for 2 a month and everything's good and we have all the right people in place, that's all we're doing. And so, my salespeople are like, well, not really 2, right? Like, no, really, really 2. And,
wow.
And our intake process, just like with your intake, it's, we can't break everything by just taking on 10 clients or 5 clients. And so we've limited it to 2, and January is already, we can't take on no more clients for January. So, so a big, bold decision, but we have a lot of clients and we're fine where we're at. And we know we have to have some time to have our people work on things. My project manager is going through and creating processes for everything that we just haven't really documented. And once we feel comfortable, we'll up the number. But that's where we're at right now. But
that's a great place to be as a business owner when you have the ability to sustain, fiscally, but you can also make the adjustments you need to make sure the quality doesn't change. I mean, that's got to be a good spot. Although I'm sure it's nerve-wracking, just like any business owner. But to be able to make those kind of decisions for like the best interest of the company, that's awesome.
Well, we have to, and I think it's going to take a lot of pressure off, some folks that run the company. Allow them to have some time to, hey, if you could do the best, make a change here or improve this. If you had the time, what would you do? Okay, here's the time. Like, let's figure it out. And then, have our team say, hey guys, we're ready to take on more clients. Like we're good.
Right.
And we want the client to have the best experience possible. And so, lost in the shuffle, we can't let that happen. So that's something that we've done. Now for us, a law firm like you're probably taking on way more than 2 clients a month. For us, that's, it's steady growth for us.
Awesome. Awesome.
I love it. I guess last question. Really, what's the best way that people to contact you, Jonathan? I know your website's below if everyone you're watching. It's MEREL familylaw.com. So merelfamilylaw.com. What's the best way to reach out, connect with you personally if we have another attorney, someone that could have, maybe a referral that could work with you guys?
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, my main office number is 312-408-7000. So that's obviously an easy way. As I mentioned before, if you want to text divorce to 22222, that's certainly another way you can get in touch with my office and me personally. My email is jmerel@merelfamilylaw.com. So that's another way. But yeah, I mean, happy to chat with any colleagues, whether it be legal industry, marketing industry. As much as I'm enjoy practicing law, the business of law is just as appealing to me. So, running a law firm, building a law firm, marketing, all that stuff. I love talking about all of it. That's why I appreciate you having me on and giving me a forum to talk about it. I know you guys do great stuff, and I'd be happy to talk with anyone who's either in my situation or down the road for me, or just starting out. I'm definitely here however I can help.
No, Jonathan, I appreciate it so much. You sharing some of the things we got. I think talking about some different things on here today, and again, I appreciate that and your thoughts and perspectives on it. I just started a book, which is about law firms. Technically, it's written by John Morgan. It's Can't Teach Hungry. Check that out if you haven't.
Awesome.
But it's how to build a multi-million-dollar law practice, I think. So you'd probably be asking, well, why am I reading that? Law firms are our clients, but it'll apply to any business. So it's a good book. Can't Teach Hungry. I think it's hard to come by. I went on Amazon, it's some ridiculous price, but that's John Morgan. I think he owns, was it Morgan and Morgan
down in Florida. They're huge.
Yeah. So check that book out. It's actually a pretty short read, but
great.
A lot of things about running a business, marketing, operations, processes is actually pretty cool. So awesome. Any attorney listening, check that book out and give it a try. Other than that, reach out to Jonathan, connect with him. 15 attorneys in family law, pretty impressive. Connect with him. I'm sure he's happy to chat and
absolutely
collaborate.
Well, thanks for having me on, Kevin. This was great, and definitely we'll chat again soon, I hope.
Yeah, well, stay on with me for just a second. Once we end the recording, we can chat for a minute backstage. Everyone else, you can check out Jonathan's episode soon. It'll be up on our website, arraylaw.com/podcast. We've had probably 150 some. I'm not sure how many have all made it on the website yet, but his episode will be up there soon. You can also, on our website, you can filter by state or by practice area. We've had attorneys almost in every single state in the country. And we cover pretty much, we probably have a half a dozen to a dozen in every single practice area at this point. So if you're looking for a particular attorney running a firm like yours, you should be able to filter and sort for that. Jonathan will be featured too in our newsletter soon, be on our LinkedIn and everywhere else. So keep an eye out for Jonathan as his content comes out on our social media channels. And then if you do need help growing and being a successful firm like Jonathan's, reach out to us, arraylaw.com, and we can help you with your marketing. So, Jonathan, anything else before we go?
No, that's it. I appreciate it again. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, if anyone wants to chat or reach out, I'm happy to connect for sure.
Awesome. Jonathan, appreciate that. Everyone else, we'll see you later. Jonathan, stick on with me.
Got it.